So, chapter 1113 of One Piece opens up with a huge panel showcasing Punk Records, or the actual body of Vegapunk, which is just basically a huge brain encased in a very large container. It's sort of like the thing you see in movies that contains organs, for example. It looks really dope and it's huge. Even Mars is not really sure if Vegapunk's consciousness is actually still in that brain, or is this like a form of immortality, for example. So we also see a bunch of characters we haven't seen in such a long time. For example, we see Kaya way back in East Blue, and we see Laboon at the beginning of the Grand Line, someone who was very dear to us when we met him. It was even more important for us when we realized it was actually Brooks' friend. That was actually like really dope. So I miss Laboon. So hopefully we get to see him soon, but it's probably not. But it's probably gonna take a while before we see Laboon, because basically it's gonna be at the end or at the final war, I think. So we also see Frankie's Island, Baltimore, the nightmare of Baltimore, where Frankie basically exploded Vegapunk's old lab. And we also see Chopper's Island with the primitive people who actually have very advanced scientific knowledge, as well as those giant birds who actually live together and they cooperate together. So that was really like interesting. And then we see basically in Blackbeard's territory, nobody cares about Vegapunk's message. They're just basically fighting. However, we also see, I think, a glimpse of the Alabasta Kingdom, as well as Sabo's brother back in Goa Kingdom in East Blue. So when Mars tries to destroy the transponder snail at the top of Punk Records, where Vegapunk's brain is located, he realized that it is a juke. It's actually a fake transponder snail, and that they currently have no way to stop the broadcast or Vegapunk's transmission of the world. We can literally see the looks of frustration on the five elders, the Warkiri, Saint Jupiter, for example, and a bunch of the other elders, right? It's at this point that the five elders probably start to realize that Vegapunk's true goal is to push forward the ideals of Ohara and reveal the truth of the world to everybody. And one of the more badass scenes in this chapter, Nosjiro tries to attack Bonnie and Frankie, and Sanji protects them by first parrying Nosjiro's attack and then kicking him in the face, which looked so damn badass, bro. However, in the very next panel, we see Nosjiro's head starts to burn because of, I'm not really sure, because of Sanji's kick, and it basically just turns into a skeleton head that bites Sanji in the body. Obviously, I don't think Sanji's damaged at all by this because his durability is like top tier. Still pretty interesting how Nosjiro is able to do that. I think the five elders devil fruits are just like basically devils, not devil fruits at all. Also see Oimu and Kashi, the giants we saw way back in Enies lobby that Usopp befriended, who were part of giant pirates. They try to hold back Nosjiro, and we see a really interesting thing. So obviously, Bonnie's ability is not just the ability to manipulate the ages of the people around her. She also has the ability to dream up a future for herself. So she basically just dreamed up a future for herself that she became a giant. Take note of the fact that even Luffy, before he got Gear 5, he was not able to do these kinds of things. He was not able to turn into a giant at will. This means nga, I think Bonnie's Devil Fruit is actually a replica of Luffy's Devil Fruit. So the five elders basically tried to make a replica of the Gomu Gomu no Mi, the human fruit model Nika. They tried to emulate it, but I guess they failed, or they thought they failed. But as we can see, Bonnie's pretty strong. So yeah, the fact that she can turn into the giant like this is very like interesting, I think. Then we see a small snippet of Sabaody, and we see Caesar and Judge. We find out that they teamed up to try to beat Vegapunk, but Caesar starts to panic when he realizes, or starts to get angry when he realizes that the Vegapunk's actually gonna die. So I think at the end of the day, they are friends, and I think it's like sort of a rivalry between them. And obviously, I think Caesar is going to be part of our team in the future anyway, or at least I think he already even is a part of our team, including Judge, by the way. The fact that these two individuals are shown means that both of them are key players in the future war. We also see Morgan's panicking because of the invention basically of widespread transmission, or basically television using transponder snails, which will basically eliminate the need for newspapers, effectively bankrupting them basically. So that's pretty interesting. And then the next panel, we see that Saturn tries to attack Robin when Saturn realizes that Robin is basically the person who was left behind at O'Hara, or the person who survived the O'Hara incident. So Saturn tries to attack Robin, and then we see Luffy, Chopper, and Usopp step up and protect Robin. Such a wholesome part of the chapter. I just love that panel so much. Everybody tries to protect Robin, because I think way back in a few chapters ago, I think Robin stated that she was not scared of the world government's retaliation because she has some very strong friends to protect her. But right now, even though Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, and Jinbei are not there to protect Robin, her other friends, Nami, Usopp, and Chopper, still were able to step up and try to protect Robin. So next, we see that the five elders are actually very reluctant to destroy the entire lab, because of the fact that if they destroy the lab, they ensure that there is no way for them to replicate the effects of the Mother Flame anymore. That's a huge deterring effect for them, because the Mother Flame is a very strong weapon. This effectively means that they can't really do anything about Vegapunk's broadcast, and it starts to actually play in the background, stating that the world's going to be sinking into the ocean. So there's a lot of theories going around right now about how the world of One Piece is sinking. There are a lot of proofs for this, and I actually am part of the believers for that. I think the world is sinking right now. It's a very interesting development, I guess. We'll see what happens in the future. But right now, I think a lot of people kind of realized this was going to be the end game. The world government was trying to sink the world of One Piece, basically. So yeah, that ends the chapter.